There's a very specific, very comfortable lie that I think a lot of us secretly love.
Okay.
It's the idea that the people who are wildly, unstoppably successful, the titans of industry, the creative geniuses, all of them, that they're just a different species.
Right. The lightning strike theory of success.
Exactly. We tell ourselves, oh, she was just born a genius, or he just got lucky, or they had the right background.
Yeah.
And it's comforting, isn't it?
Oh, completely.
Because if success is just a lottery ticket, then it's not our fault if we don't have it. We're off the hook.
It is the ultimate defense mechanism for the ego.
Yeah.
But today, well, we're going to dismantle that mechanism.
We are.
Because the source material we're covering, we're calling it the architect of achievement.
Yeah.
It argues with almost mathematical certainty that success is not an accident.
It's a structure.
It's a structure.
And that's why I'm genuinely pumped for this deep dive. We are looking at a masterclass breakdown of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, but through this very specific lens of the architect. The whole premise is, you don't just stumble into a skyscraper, you build it from a blueprint.
And if you have the blueprint, you can build the building. It doesn't matter who you are or where you started. That is the radical promise here.
It's an engineering problem, not a mystical one.
Exactly.
So, here's our mission today. We are going to strip away all the vague motivational fluff, and Lord knows there's enough of that out there, and we're going to extract the specific psychological mechanics that this source claims are responsible for almost all high-level achievement.
And I want to set the stakes early here. We aren't just talking about thinking happy thoughts.
No, not at all.
We are talking about rewiring the way your brain processes reality. We've got 5 pillars to get through today.
Okay, what are they?
Desire, belief, thoughts, your environment, and finally, persistence.
It sounds like a lot, but when you read through this, you realize they're all gears in the same machine. You can't turn one without the others.
That's a perfect way to put it.
So let's start the foundation. Lesson 1. Desire is the starting point.
This is, I think, the most misunderstood concept in the entire philosophy.
I can see why it sounds a little simplistic, right?
Yeah.
Step 1, you have to want it. And you're probably thinking, well, obviously, I want $1 million. I want a beach house. Next.
Right, and that is exactly where the source material just stops you cold. It draws this massive redding distinction between a wish and a burning desire.
Okay, let's peel that back. What is the functional difference? Because on the surface, everyone wants to be successful.
Think of a wish as passive. A wish is, it would be nice if, it's a preference. I'd prefer to be wealthy.
Right.
A burning desire is a biological imperative. It's not, I'd like this. It is, I absolutely must have this. A wish has no real power. It doesn't change your behavior. You can wish for a better job while you're sitting on the couch, binge-watching a series.
So a burning desire is something that literally creates a discomfort if you're not moving toward it. It feels wrong to sit still.
Precisely. It consumes your mental space. It wakes you up early. It keeps you up late. But here's the catch, and this is the part that separates the dreamers from the achievers. Desire is useless without clarity.
Vague goals create vague results. That line just stuck with me.
It's the golden rule.
Yeah.
The source outlines a specific formula. You can't just tell your brain, I want to be successful. Your brain has no idea what that means. It can't hunt for success.
You have to give it coordinates.
You have to give it coordinates. So step 1, define the exact amount of money or the exact title, the exact outcome. Step 2, and this is crucial, the timeline. When do you have it by? A goal without a date is just a day drop.
There's no urgency.
None.
And then there's the third component. And honestly, this is the one that felt like a slap in the face. I think this is what 99% of people leave out.
The price tag.
The price tag. You have to define what you are willing to give in return.
This is where the architect framework really shines. It views success as a transaction. The universe is a marketplace, not a charity. You are buying a result.
And the currency isn't just money.
No, the currency is your time, your comfort, your risk, your sleep, your reputation.
It's such a reframing. Because we usually ask, why hasn't this happened for me yet? The source says the correct question is, have I paid the full price yet?
It removes all the entitlement from the equation. If you walk into a store and want a Rolex, but you only put $5 on the counter, the clerk isn't being unfair.
You just haven't met the price.
You haven't met the price. The source demands you write it down. I will earn X amount by Y date, and in exchange, I will give these specific services and sacrifices.
That is terrifyingly concrete. It turns it into a contract.
It is a contract with yourself. And once you sign it, once the desire is specific and the cost is accepted, you move to the second phase. Because you can want something, you can even know the price. But if you don't actually believe you can pay it, you're stuck.
Which brings us to lesson 2. Belief creates reality.
Or, to put it in more modern terms, it's about programming your subconscious mind.
The source uses some older terminology, but the mechanism is timeless. It describes the subconscious as this faithful, non-judgmental servant. It doesn't argue with you, it just takes orders.
I love the tape recorder analogy it uses. Your subconscious is recording everything you think and say, especially the things you repeat with emotion.
So if you walk around all day thinking, I'm not good with money, or I always choke in big meetings, or the economy is rigged,
Your subconscious just accepts those as instructions. Okay, got it. He's not good with money.
it's like typing code into a computer. If you type run error script, the computer runs the error script. It doesn't say, hey, are you sure this seems counterproductive?
Exactly. It just says, Roger that. Executing failure protocol. And this creates that negative cycle. You doubt yourself, so you hesitate, you get a mediocre result, which then proves you were right to doubt yourself in the first place.
So how do we hack the system? The source talks about autosuggestion. And I'll be honest, when I first hear that, I picture someone staring in a mirror chanting, I am a tiger.
hmm
It feels a bit unscientific.
It can feel that way, but if you look at the mechanics, it's really just the deliberate injection of a new narrative. You're recording over the old tape.
So you can't just wait for confidence to magically appear.
No, you have to manufacture it. The source argues that you must repeat your goal and your belief in your ability to achieve it, even when, and this is key, even when you don't see the evidence yet.
That's the hard part. Believing it when the bank account says 0, believing you're a great writer when you haven't published a single word.
But that is the prerequisite. The source maps out a chain reaction. Repetition builds belief. Belief builds confidence. Confidence leads to action, and action leads to results.
Most people have it backward. They want the results to come first to give them the confidence.
Exactly. The architect says, no, you build the foundation underground long before anyone sees the skyscraper.
So, practically speaking, this means catching those negative thoughts, the I can't do this, and forcefully overriding them.
It means guarding the door of your mind, which actually segues perfectly into the next pillar we need to talk about,
Yeah.
which the source calls lesson 5, but it fits logically right here.
Your thoughts control your outcomes.
Right. Because if belief is the operating system, then your thoughts are the daily inputs.
Okay.
The source material makes this profound point about perception. It argues that your dominant thoughts determine two critical things: what you notice and what you attempt.
Let's drill down on what you notice, because I think we've all had that experience where you buy a specific car, say a red convertible, and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere.
That's the classic example. The cars were always there, your eyes were seeing them, but your brain was just filtering them out as irrelevant.
But once you buy the car, it becomes relevant and the filter opens.
Yes. So now apply that to your career. If your dominant thought pattern, your burning desire, is focused on opportunity and growth, your brain literally starts scanning the environment for resources that match that pattern.
You overhear a conversation at a coffee shop that sounds like a lead.
You spot a gap in the market everyone else ignores. You notice one paragraph in a long article that applies directly to your industry.
It's almost like you develop a superpower. You're seeing a different layer of reality.
You are. And the inverse has to be true. If your dominant thought is, this is impossible, your brain just scans for roadblocks.
It becomes a heat-seeking missile for excuses.
Exactly. You will notice every single reason why it won't work. You'll fixate on the bad news, the rude customer, the rejection letter. You are literally constructing a reality based on what you told your brain to look for.
And that's why the source gives that directive. Guard your mental input. It sounds almost defensive, like you need a firewall.
You do. You have to be the bouncer for your own mind. You can't afford the luxury of a negative thought, not for some mystical bad karma reason, but because it messes up your search parameters. It clogs the filter.
Okay, so we've got desire, the contract, belief, the programming, and thoughts, the search engine. But we don't live in a vacuum.
No, we don't.
And this brings us to what the source calls the mastermind principle.
This is one of Hill's most famous concepts, and probably one that gets diluted the most in modern business culture.
Yeah, today a mastermind is just a Zoom call you pay $5,000 to be on. But the source is talking about something much more primal here, isn't it?
Much more primal. The mastermind principle in this context is about the physics of influence. It states that human minds are permeable. We absorb the energy, the standards, and the habits of the people we are in close proximity to.
It's like osmosis.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Think about it like a thermostat.
Oh.
If you are set to 70 degrees, but you walk into a room where everyone else is set to 90, high energy, high ambition, high discipline, eventually you heat up.
You have to, just to survive in that environment.
Right. And the source specifically lists what spreads. It's not just knowledge. It says energy spreads, ambition spreads, discipline spreads,
And the scary part,
cynicism spreads, laziness spreads, complaining spreads.
that's the one that gets me. Have you ever noticed how exhausting it is to hang out with a group of people who are just constantly venting?
It just drains the battery. The Force warns that if you are trying to build this burning desire we talked about, that fragile little flame, and you hang out with people who are constantly pouring water on it with their skepticism, you're fighting a losing battle.
You cannot outwill your environment forever.
Never. So the actionable advice here isn't just go network more, it's curate ruthlessly.
Strategic isolation and strategic connection.
Yes. You have to cut the anchors and attach yourself to engines. If you are the smartest, most driven person in your room, you are in the wrong room. You need to be in a room where you feel a little uncomfortable because the standards are so high.
That raises your baseline. It makes you realize that your maximum effort is just someone else's warm-up.
Correct. It makes your extraordinary look normal.
Yeah.
And once that becomes your normal, your results have to shift. It's almost unavoidable.
Okay, so let's pause and look at the structure we've built. You've defined the goal, that's desire. You've programmed your mind to believe it's possible, belief. You're filtering reality for opportunities, thoughts. You've surrounded yourself with high performers, the environment. You launch, you take action. And then,
You get punched in the face.
yeah,
Metaphorically, of course.
hopefully metaphorically, yes, reality pushes back. And this brings us to the final and maybe the most critical pillar, persistence versus failure.
The source has a really interesting take here. It doesn't just say don't give up. It creates a whole new distinction between failure and temporary defeat.
This is a vital semantic shift. Most people treat a setback, a rejected sales pitch, a failed product, a bad quarter as failure. And failure sounds so final.
It's a verdict. I tried, I failed, I'm done.
Right. But the source argues that failure is an event that only happens at the moment you quit. Everything before that point, that's just temporary defeat.
And temporary defeat is just data. It's just data. It's feedback. It's the universe saying, not that way, try another way. Or, connecting back to our first point, not yet, you haven't paid the full price.
I love that. Sometimes a setback is just part of the transaction cost you agreed to.
Exactly. The source mentions a phenomenon that I think every successful person recognizes. It says that success often comes just after the hardest moment, the 3 feet from gold concept.
The idea that the resistance is strongest right before the breakthrough.
It's almost a testing mechanism. The world tests the validity of your burning desire. It asks, oh, you want this. Do you want it enough to push through this embarrassment, through this bankruptcy, through this lean year?
And if your desire is just a wish,
You folded the first sign of resistance. A wish isn't worth the pain. But a burning desire, a definite purpose, it uses the setback as fuel. It says, okay, that didn't work. What did I learn? Readjust. Let's go again.
so persistence isn't just stubbornness, it's intelligent resilience. It's the ability to absorb the shock and keep the vision intact.
It's the only trait that can't be replaced. You can find more talent. You can get more knowledge. But you cannot replace the sheer will to refuse to accept no as the final answer.
It's the insurance policy on all the other principles.
That is a great way to put it. Without persistence, the other pillars just crumble at the first storm.
So looking at this whole architect of achievement model, it really is a closed loop. It's a system.
It is a system. And if we zoom out and synthesize the core truth of this whole deep dive, it's what the source hints at from the very beginning. Success starts in the mind, long before it ever appears in reality.
We tend to look for success on the outside, the car, the house, the title. But the source is arguing those are just lagging indicators.
They are the symptoms. The cause is the mindset. You build the structure internally first. You sign the contract, desire. You lay the foundation, belief. You frame the walls, thoughts. You bring in the crew, your mastermind. And you weatherproof the roof, persistence.
And if you do all that,
The building must exist.
it removes the mystery. It makes it feel, well, manageable. Difficult, yes. Expensive in terms of effort, absolutely, but not mysterious.
It takes the luck excuse off the table,
Where?
which is both liberating and a little terrifying.
Because it puts the responsibility squarely back on you.
Exactly.
Let's just recap the flow one last time just to lock this blueprint in.
Okay, here's the sequence. First, desire. Turn the wish into a contract. Define the goal and the price.
Second, belief. Use repetition to program your subconscious until the goal feels inevitable.
Third, thoughts. Guard your input. Filter for opportunity, not for obstacles.
Fourth, environment. Surround yourself with people who normalize the standard you want to reach.
And finally, persistence.
Oh.
Treat every setback as temporary data, not a final verdict.
And if you execute that code,
The result follows the program.
I want to leave everyone listening with something to chew on. We talked a lot about the price of success, and we established that you have to define what you want, but I think the harder part is the second half of that equation.
What you are willing to give up.
Exactly. So here's the question for you to carry around this week. If you know what you want, have you actually sat down and decided what you are willing to sacrifice to get it?
Are you willing to give up your Netflix time, your weekends, your need to be liked by everyone, your fear of looking stupid?
Because nothing is free. The invoice is sitting right there on the counter. The only question is, are you going to pay it?
Clarity creates power, but only if you act on it.
Thanks for diving deep with us. Now go out there and build something.
See you next time.